You know what? There's a lot going on in the world right now. And this week, we're going to talk about some pros and cons. Hello everybody, my name is Barry Horvath and this is Moving Forward TV with your local market update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's kind of nice being on a little bit of a different set. Remember we used something like this a while back and then we went to the table because we felt that we were old and we needed a place to put stuff.
Well, you know what? I feel like, remember the Cheers bar?
Yes.
Norm,
I know.
I'm missing
Norm.
that.
I know.
I'm missing that. I love that.
But I like this. It's kind of comfy.
It
it's
is
like
comfy. We can sit back and chill. I can cross my legs with no worries. So anyway, it's all good.
I'm liking this.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it.
So we might have to request from the producer if we can keep this for a little bit.
And say we can have this all the time. Yeah. My coffee's in much closer reach. No, but it's good.
We like this. Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. Let us know what you think of us on this set. You can see my green H&R Block shirt, I've been told.
Doesn't he look like he works for H&R Block?
I could.
He's just missing that little H&R Block. You know, speaking of H&R Block.
Yes.
So, and this is totally not on our sheets.
Yeah, because we got some really good information for you we're going to share.
I know.
Stand by for that.
You know, we've been talking for the last several weeks about all of the COVID changes that have been happening in the mortgage industry, and everybody has been great, and we appreciate you guys, and we thank you for being patient with all of the changes and the extra steps and things that we have to go through to get the files done these days. Well, those ever-changing things are coming even more, and it has to do with self-employed people. Again, this is not on my thing at all, but I bring up that because H&R Block, we have to, a lot different with the tax returns and things. So,
well,
and analyzing the tax returns, they're analyzing things a lot more thorough than they used to, and the balance sheets and such on self-employed people. So, again, if we have a self-employed person, be extra patient.
Yes. Well, I mean, and self-employed can be defined as someone just as simply as a real estate professional, because you are not getting taxes and insurance deducted from your paycheck per se, and you may have had a huge drop-off in business. Hopefully you're not, because it's crazy right now what's going on, but in the real estate world, but there are a lot of companies that have had a slowdown due to COVID, unfortunately. So extra layers, and it's not us, it's the industry. I always like to remind people, when I say we, I mean all of us out there are requiring these extra steps. So profit and loss statements and bank statements from your business are now going to be required to prove that you are still receiving the income that you showed on last year's tax return or even 2018's tax return. So, because you know, a lot of businesses don't even file the 2019 till October.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it.
And just as a quick reminder on that, and again, the only reason we're thinking about that is because he's wearing an H&R Block shirt today.
Love it.
And yesterday we were on a webinar, a national webinar, kind of like teaching us about all of the new changes that are coming with that. And guess what? Effective immediately. Yay,
yes.
Fun.
Yes.
But the other quick thought on that is, hey, July 15th, deadline.
Yes.
That's next week. That's, well,
it's already passed.
No, that's like tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you tell me?
Thanks for the great alert. All right. So we're going to talk about something even more significant that impacts so many people right now, because the market is on fire. We know it's still a seller's market out there, and people ask me all the time. I'm stealing your line. People ask me all the time. Yeah, you've grown on me. It took 11 years, but you grew on me. Should you rent or should you own? And there's a lot of pros and cons to both, and we want you to maybe open your thoughts to, you know, if you've been considering buying or upgrading on your home, should you do it? Because, you know, interest rates right now are amazingly low. So, you know,
All-time low.
Yeah.
All-time low. They've
Yeah.
never been this low.
I've never seen
in the
this
history
low.
of monitoring interest rates.
in the history of mankind. So we want to, you know, point out some things to you, you know, that you may or may not have thought of if you are considering buying. So if you're a real estate professional and you have people that may be looking, you might want to share this show with them so they can make an informed decision on if they should rent or own. Because home ownership is really not, I have to tell you, it's not for everyone. It really isn't.
It's not.
You know, because there's definite pros and cons to it. You know, for me, I've been a homeowner since I was 19. And actually, 18. I was almost 19. I bought my first home.
Wow,
so.
good for you. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, but-
I think I bought my first home when I was 20.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. I
We're-
know. Just
We're
crazy
overachievers.
nuts. I know.
But we knew the industry, I think, and we were engaged in that. So even though I wasn't in the mortgage business back then. But anyway, so let's talk about pros and cons of each. I think we should start out with renters, because there's a lot of renters out there. You know, we're going to do a pro and con for different categories. And if you have thoughts on this, you should message us later, because we're always looking to build our pros and cons list. We've gathered this list over years of experience.
And it's funny, on some of the things we're actually having a difficult time coming up with some
Sorry,
cons.
I just did a funny face on the camera. You missed it. Sorry.
I was looking at my notes. All right, so let's start with the first one on renting, pros to renting. Kind of one of my favorites, and probably the first that comes up. If something breaks, not your problem.
Yeah.
That's your landlord's problem.
Yep, it is your landlord's problem. So when the hot water heater starts leaking, when the AC goes out, when the roof is leaking, when the toilet's running, you may have a nuisance clause in your rental agreement that they don't cover that. So it's not your problem. You know, that's definitely a pro.
But the con,
The con to that is definitely that you're at the mercy of your landlord. Maybe they're not going to come right out. Maybe you're not in a complex. Maybe your owner is out of the country.
You're going to live with that leaky toilet for a little while.
State. Maybe the AC's out. Maybe the hot water heater's leaking. It's, you know, they may not take care of it right away. You don't have a say on when it gets done. So most landlords can be good, I would think, for the most part, but there are some that not so good. So now let's talk about another pro of renting. I would say, you know, depending on your job, renting can be very portable, meaning if you get a transfer in your job, there's opportunities. You're not going to be stuck with a house or real estate that may be upside down if we had a down market. But it is more portable because you are not tied to ownership. So you can just get up and go.
Yep.
You know, divorce situation may be a reason you need to go.
Right.
It's much easier, per se, to, you know, be portable in that situation. You have a con for that?
and of course, along with that con, what we don't have down here, but the easier thing is if you move a lot, or if you transfer with your job a lot, you know,
Right.
that would work out well for somebody, then you should rent. If you transfer with your job a lot, you should rent. The con to being able to up and move, or, you know, to have the ability to move right away, is sometimes you have a lease. And if you've signed a, you know, 1-year lease, a 2-year lease, a 3-year lease, whatever it may be, you're kind of stuck there then until that lease, or you might have to buy it out.
Maybe
Sometimes landlords negotiate with you, but sometimes they don't. So you might have to, if you do have to move, if you do get transferred with work or anything like that, you might have to buy out your lease.
You know,
which could be costly.
I always like to say, though, you can, you know, you can always, and this has everything to do with this, if you do get a transfer and you own, you can also convert that to a rental property. People don't think about that, and now you have rental income for later. So I like that as a
That's true.
as
That's
a pro
true.
for it.
That's a good pro for when
Yep.
we get to the home buyer
Yeah,
side.
so-
all right, so let's keep going here. So what's our next
Our next
pro?
thing is community amenities.
Yes.
So
you
when you're-
rent an apartment building.
Yeah, if you're in an apartment complex, they have gyms sometimes. They have
Clubhouse. Swimming pools.
They might have a swimming pool.
Movie stars.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's
Different.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Hills, that is. Black gold.
However, the con to that,
This is
all
a
those
story
wonderful
about a man
amenities.
named Jed. I'm sorry.
He's going to stay. See, this how we roll.
I can see the vehicle coming down the road now, stacked.
Granny sitting over the top. The con to all of that is the same thing.
Yeah, you may not like.
Maybe you don't like sharing the same swimming pool with other people, the
Yeah.
same gym, the same clubhouse, the same picnic table, the same chairs around the pool. Maybe you don't like sharing with other people. Maybe you don't like the person.
Right, and you're going to be forced to share with them. So you have virtually no privacy whatsoever in those. But,
Yep.
and especially during COVID right now, maybe you don't want to be in the gym with your neighbor that's hacking.
I know.
And I don't mean that to sound insulting because there's a lot of people suffering from that, but it's true though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. All right, so what's another pro? Usually it's pretty inexpensive to get in.
Yes.
I know you usually have to come up with first month's and maybe a month's security. Some places charge first, last, and security or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a little less to get into an apartment than it is to get into a house.
Right.
Not as big of a difference as you might think, but sometimes it is. The con, of course, to that.
You're not going to have any buildup of equity into it. You're throwing your money away. You are literally every single month you're paying someone else's
Out the
bills
window.
for them. It's out the window.
Yeah,
so.
I like that. You're paying someone else's bills for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So another
We're both
another
getting our
pro
glasses.
on rentals is if you're in an apartment complex. This wouldn't apply if you're in a house. Like, say your family is growing, and you have a new child, or you have unexpected out-of-town guests that are coming to move in with you, whatever. There's opportunities sometimes to move up. So if you're in a 2-bedroom, you need a 3-bedroom now, or you're in a 1-bedroom, you need a 2-bedroom. A lot of complexes will let you trade in with that current lease to upgrade to a bigger unit. So
And of course, that's only if available.
only if available. So yeah, that's
Which
definitely
goes right into the last one on this list, which is every year, typically, your rent goes up.
yes. So
So if you do upgrade to that other apartment, whether you do or not, or whether you stay in your little 1-bedroom apartment or you upgrade to that 2- or 3-bedroom apartment, more likely than not, your rent's going to go up every single year.
which is going to move us right into our owning
Ta-da!
comparison.
Page 2.
Yeah. So the owning aspect, like DeLynn just said, when you own a property, you're typically going to have a 30-year fixed rate note. Some people do a 15-year when they're stupid. Did I say that out loud?
He didn't say that.
Sorry. You're
Can we
typically
edit this?
sorry. It had to be said. I just had to get it in there. We'll talk about that on another show. But you're going to have a fixed payment. You're not going to have rental increases every single year. It is going to be for life. So rents can go up, and they will. Rents are going to go up no matter
there's
what.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going to raise them.
You know what? In fact, right now, you can probably...
Rents are crazy
Yeah, you
high.
can actually own for less than you rent, more than likely.
It's amazing, and maybe one of these shows will show the difference or whatever. But yeah, you can't get into a rental right now, anything decent for less than $1,200 to $1,500 a month, right?
Yeah, it just depends on the property, but rents are up there big time.
Yeah.
And they continue and will continue. When you're on a fixed mortgage, when you own the home, you're not going anywhere. Now,
And
here's
even
the
rents are hard to find right now.
They are hard.
Yeah.
I got people waiting.
Yeah.
Like a waiting list. It's crazy. Now, the con is, if you guys remember to that, is insurance rates can go up and taxes can go up. Taxes in our county are capped, which is beautiful.
A good thing.
Yeah, they're only going to go up as much as inflation. Now, investment property, that's a different story. Insurance rates can go up, so that would be the other thing. Remember we had the insurance crisis years ago where insurance rates really did skyrocket. So as a homeowner with a mortgage, you are responsible to carry that insurance, so those rates may go up on you. So that's one of the drawbacks of the
But you know what?
homeownership.
Even when that happened, guess what? Your landlord, who is an owner of the property that you're renting, his insurance went up too. So that means your rent's going to go up.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of almost a wash. Now, going right along with the pro side to homeownership, those same real estate taxes that Barry was talking about are tax deductible. So you do get some nice tax deductions as a homeowner. You're allowed to, deduct your real estate taxes on the home and any mortgage interest that is paid. So those are some nice tax deductions. So if you're paying the IRS every year, there might be a chance you might get a refund.
So let me be the other side of that and say that they may not be tax deductible because the standard deduction is pretty high now.
That's new, yeah.
So you may or may not get that tax break. If you're self-employed, more than likely if you're taking write-offs, it's definitely going to help you being tax deductible.
Right.
So, but that, consult your tax advisor. That's what I always say on that.
We need to.
But it may, when you
Not him. He
Right.
looks like he works for H&R Block.
I do not. I do not. But you know what? When you rent, you have no opportunity for tax deduction on that. When you own, you definitely may.
Absolutely.
It may be a huge advantage. So next pro of home ownership is you may get discounts on your other insurances, including your automobile insurance. They look at that as stability, proven fact that if you own your home, you're less likely to have an accident because you're more stable. Life insurance premiums may be lower. All your other insurances may get you a discount just because you own a home. Hey, DeLynn, don't worry about it. We're doing a show. Don't put it on Do Not Disturb or anything. There's a button on the iPhone. It's on the side. It's called the silent button. Check it out. It works every time.
If you didn't hear it, my phone just rang. Which is why he's berating me right now.
Discounts on insurance, I can't find a con to that. I know when you rent, you're not going to get those. So there's really no con to that at all.
I know, there isn't. But one of the, so moving on to another pro
Yes.
would be credit improvement. On a credit score, people are always looking for how do I make my credit score go higher. Mortgages weigh heavy on a credit report and on a credit score. So if you have a mortgage and you're paying it timely and everything, that's boosting your credit score a lot.
Right. And of course, having a higher credit score can help you when you're buying an automobile and you're financing it, you're getting credit cards, you're going to get them at a lower rate. The higher your score, the better your life is. That's a huge thing. Now, I have to be the negative on it. The con is if you don't pay your mortgage, guess what? Your credit is going to be trashed. Where if you rented, if you were behind, they'll hit you with late fees. They may come after you, but they're not going to hit your credit typically unless you default on the lease agreement. So
exactly.
Where if you're late on a mortgage, if you have a 30-day late, it can really hit your credit. So but if you pay on time, it's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
I mean, even if you rent, you got to pay on time. They're going to come after you. It's just not going to hit your credit right away. Another pro, I would say, to owning that we may or may not know is building equity. When you pay rent, again, you're throwing that money away every single month. You're paying someone else's bills. In an appreciating market like we've had over the last few years, you are building equity. I mean, the appreciation rates in a lot of markets has been 10 to 20% a year, above normal. But think about that. If you own a $200,000 home, if it appreciated 10%, that's $20,000 of appreciation that you would never get by renting a home. I mean, to me...
And that you wouldn't have... you made $20,000 just by owning that house.
For that 1 year.
You worked,
No, for that 1 year. And you know
for
what?
just living there.
I always tell people, in real estate, when you look at your mortgage payment, you don't make money on paying your mortgage. So much of your money goes to interest, and a lot of it, people are like, I'm never going to pay my house off. Don't worry about it, because where you make money in real estate is typically by the appreciation factor of owning that home. Home prices continue to go up. They will continue to go up. They may decline. So I would say the con of that is the market may decline. So you could own a home, you could buy a house, and the market could actually go down. But if you're holding for the long term, I think you're relatively probably a safe bet that it's not going to decline over the long haul. We've had markets like 2008, 2009, where people bought in '05 at the peak, and it did decline. But they've long since come back and exceeded that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We've exceeded the 2006 levels, which was the height of the market at that time. And going along with that, people who, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind, lost it.
Okay, that's all right. You're allowed.
Okay,
You're
moving
allowed.
on.
You got a brand new bed last night. You got a good night's sleep. I would expect you to forget things now.
All right.
All right. With your little remote, rising it up, making your back and ribs all comfy. I bet it's great. Anyway.
But with the decline, here we go. I got it. Okay.
All right, it's
so
back.
with the decline of and that could happen with anything. So again, which goes to what we were saying about the rental. If your plan is to buy and then move, in a year or something, you're probably not a good person to buy, because you really don't. You just might, in a down market, if the market did decline a little bit, you just might lose some money. So if you're more prone to moving a lot, maybe for your job or for whatever reasons, and you move a lot, then maybe you're not the best person to buy. Maybe you are better renting.
Well, it does cost you to move, because
does.
you are going to have to pay real estate commission,
Exactly.
closing costs to move. I won't give you a number, but probably it can be as high as 9% per se to relocate.
I hate when people use percentages.
I know. But I'm going to give you this percentage though to chew on. Homeowners are 36% more wealthy. Because
that is a fact.
That
yes.
is a fact.
We read it on the internet.
Yeah, so it must be true. No, it's definitely a fact, because you're building equity, you're more stable. Homeowners just tend to be more stable, period.
Right.
And they are more wealthy.
And that is something that
when
somebody's doing surveys.
And
those surveys that they do.
They do. They stay on their jobs longer because they're in that market. When you change jobs, typically, people might be enticed by a bonus, sign-on,
Right.
or a higher paycheck. But typically, when you're stable on the same job for years, usually you build more wealth. You have
Right.
more consistency.
Right.
You grow. We've learned that, and we've changed mortgage companies. We know that that's a bad idea. We know
Right.
that for the next 6 months, a year or more, that it hurts our income. But long haul, it's better if
Right.
you're in a better operation.
Well, it goes right back to the stability.
Yep. So
Everybody wants stability.
I agree. So that's our next pro for home ownership.
Ta-da!
Stability. I'd say more stability for your family. You don't have to worry about your children having to change schools because your landlord sold their
And how
property.
much of a pain is that, right? Any parent out there who has done it, oh, now we got to go to this school. The meetings, all the paperwork and everything to switch school zones, hassle. You're taking time off of work to be able to go to the school to do this stuff. So that's very difficult. So having stability is...
It's huge. No one can kick you out.
No one can kick you out.
You pay, you stay.
Right.
Pay your mortgage, you stay.
Which is not the case when you're renting.
Nope.
Because what if you're renting a house, let's say, in the neighborhood that you like, that your kids are entrenched in school, and then that owner of that house decides that they don't like living, in Arizona anymore, and they're moving back to Florida, and they want to move back into their house.
Or they want to cash in on the equity that you help them build by paying rent to them.
And they want to sell the house, and they say to you, okay, you got 30 days to get out.
Yeah.
Ah,
Bye-bye. Yeah,
panic.
I know. All right, so I'm going to cover this last one. To me, this one is one of the most, besides building wealth, besides all the stability, better credit scores and all that, I think the biggest thing about being a homeowner is you can make it your own.
Yes.
You really can. That, you know what, quality of life. You can paint the rooms the way you want it. You can add a room. You can put a pool on. It's your choice to do that. You want certain colors on the walls. If you're renting, you may not be allowed to do that. You can paint your house any way you want it. I mean, barring any HOA on the outside.
I was just going
You're not
to
going
say,
to have. You're not going to
really-
get a bright red house in a deed restricted community. I'm sorry, folks, but
There's some commercial about that right now on TV where, you know, the HOA Nazi or whatever is going along and like, you know, oh, your grass is too high, your mailbox is too tall.
yeah, I know.
I think
It's-
those are funny.
They are funny, but you know what? There is one con to that. And the con is, you know, to make it your own. It may be costly, depending on what you want. You know, if you want to remodel the kitchen, you can do it, but it may be costly to do it. But heck,
But you're building wealth for yourself.
Yep.
Bottom line is the money that you spend on improving your home, your kitchen, your upgrading baths, whatever you're doing, it's all going to come into your pocket when you go to sell the house.
and you know what? Right now, for people that locked in the fours, I've seen people getting cash out, refinancing and adding very little to their payment to, you know, put that pool in.
Right.
To remodel that kitchen, to do all the things they want to do and make it like a brand new house. with
Because of the
little-
reduction in the interest rate.
Yes, it's
It
huge
almost
right now.
offsets the, depending upon
Yep.
how much cash out they're taking, the increase in the cash out. So their payments are fairly similar, and they're,
Or just maybe a slight increase, and they can make that home brand new to the way they want
easy
it. So,
peasy.
yeah, so it's pretty cool right now what's going on
I
with the
know.
rates. I've never seen rates this low.
Never. And
I
again,
know.
I've been doing this 40 years. They have never, ever, ever, ever,
She
ever
started
been.
when she was 1.
Yep, I did.
But that's good. So I think that's just great information. You know, weigh it out if you think renting versus own.
Because as we said, you know what? Buying is not for everyone.
No, it's not, but it's definitely for me
But definitely.
and you.
It is. And definitely we would highly suggest speaking with someone. Where you start, the very first place to start, if you're not sure if you should be renting or owning, talk to us.
Yeah.
Call and speak to a loan originator. And
Somebody who really
doesn't cost
cares.
a dime just to talk to them. Or if you have a financial planner, talk to them. Run the numbers, just see where you would be.
Yes.
Like we said, a lot of times people are finding right now they can actually own a home for less than they're renting.
Yes. So, all right. So don't forget, watch our upcoming Lunch and Learns on via Zoom, second Tuesday of the month. We'll have one in August coming up
Right?
with
We're
a
hoping-
great speaker.
We're hoping soon to get back to Carrabba's.
Yeah,
Those
someday.
of you who have joined us in the past, we've been doing these for a number of years. We all love and miss Carrabba's.
11:30, second Tuesday every month. Don't miss it. So, hey, if you like this information, share it, get it out there, forward it to your friends, tag us, like us. Thanks for all your referrals. We appreciate all of you.
Thanks, everyone. We are today and every day.
Moving forward,
See you next week.
have a great week.